Massive news in the world of MMA as current middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis' head coach has revealed that DDP is expected to make another title defense in February, and that card is set to take place in Australia. So it seems like now that Australia and New Zealand have zero champs, DDP, the man from Africa, is going to be the guy to run that continent as well. Now, DDP's coach revealed that his next opponent is most likely going to be Robert Whittaker if he beats Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 308. Now, from that post there, it seems like Dricus du Plessis' head coach and DDP's whole team are fairly confident that Robert Whittaker is going to beat Khamzat Chimaev. And you know what? I'm on that boat. I think Robert Whittaker is going to be the man to beat Khamzat Chimaev. I feel like the first two rounds will be very, very difficult for Robert Whittaker in there. And Robert Whittaker will have to show just how good he is in there. Because Khamzat Chimaev, especially in round one, I genuinely believe Khamzat is without a doubt the greatest first round fighter we have ever seen in the UFC. So rounds 1 and 2 will be very tough for Robert Whittaker. But 3, 4 and 5, when the lactic acid starts to set in on Khamzat Chimaev and he starts to fatigue, which we have seen every single fight, I think that's when Robert Whittaker can really put a pace on him and take over. I feel like on the feet, Robert Whittaker should have an advantage against Khamzat Chimaev. Although I do think Khamzat is a good striker. He does have good boxing and he does carry a lot of power. And a lot of people do feel like Robert Whittaker is now a bit chinny in his career. I disagree. I do think Robert Whittaker can be hit and he can be hurt, but I don't think the guy is necessarily really chinny. Just look at the shot he had from Paulo Costa when they fought at UFC, I don't know, whatever that card was. The one in February, I believe that's when he fought Paulo Costa. But it seems like DDP and his team are really looking for really looking forward to getting this potential rematch with Robert Whittaker. Now, is this mind games towards Sean Strickland, who was revealed to be the next opponent for whoever won the middleweight title when DDP fought Israel Adesanya way back at UFC 305? Is this just DDP playing mind games with Sean Strickland? Who knows? But Sean Strickland has responded on Twitter. He says, UFC event planning. I have a great idea. Let's send Sean to go fight for the championship in a foreign country where the government absolutely hates him. Now, why that would be an issue at all, why the government of Australia would have any input on what the outcome of this fight is just fucking stupid in my opinion. He then goes on to say, UFC, are you fucking with me, or are you trying to tell me you want me to spread freedom? You want me to spread freedom? I wonder at times. I don't get what that second part is. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments below. I don't know what Sean Strickland's on about. Sean Strickland, I'm going to be honest, has done a lot of yapping recently. Now that's funny coming from me, who's just sat here in my room yapping about Sean Strickland. But Sean Strickland, after the Paulo Costa win, has been adamant that he will not fight again unless it is for the middleweight title. And to be honest, it is either him or Robert Whittaker that should be, ignore that voice break, that should be fighting DDP next. Let's not forget, Sean Strickland and Dricus did have a very, very close fight way back at the start of the year. In my opinion, DDP did win that, but it was a very, very close matchup. Since then, Dricus has went on to submit Israel Adesanya, and Sean Strickland has went on to beat Paulo Costa by decision. Now, I don't think it's as clear cut as what people are making it out to be, that Sean Strickland should definitely get the title fight over Robert Whittaker. Obviously, looking at it now with Whittaker being put in there against Khamzat Chimaev, that's a very difficult fight for Robert Whittaker, one that he could lose. You would think Sean Strickland is now the front runner, but it seems like DDP and his team are looking to see who wins this fight in October. I just want to say, the month of October for us as combat sports fans is insane. You've got Ilya Topuria, Max Holloway, you've got Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree, the boxing as well. That's the fight I am most looking forward to, the main event. Bivol versus Beterbiev. That fight is going to be unreal. Cannot wait for that one. And then obviously you've got Whittaker versus Khamzat. But comparing what Sean Strickland has done since the DDP loss to what Robert Whittaker has done since his loss to DDP, Robert Whittaker's went in there. he beat Paulo Costa in a more impressive fashion, in my opinion, than what Sean Strickland did. Now, yes, Whittaker did get caught in there against Paulo Costa, but I feel like he clearly won that fight against Costa. Now, yes, Sean Strickland, in my opinion, did clearly win the fight against Costa as well, but I feel like Whittaker put on a better performance, and then obviously he got that round 1 KO over Ikram Aliskerov. Now, yes, Ikram wasn't ranked at the time, but he was a very highly thought of prospect at the time in the UFC. There was a lot of hype behind the guy, and Robert Whittaker starched him in 1 round. I feel like there is an argument to be had that Whittaker didn't need to take this Khamzat fight, and he could have just fought it out to get the title fight between Sean Strickland. I genuinely feel like that was a missed opportunity. After Whittaker KO'd Ikram, I feel like the UFC should have set up a 5-rounder between Sean Strickland versus Robert Whittaker, but the UFC are trying their hardest to get Khamzat to the title, and Robert Whittaker seems to be the only guy that's man enough to step up and fight him. Yeah, I don't know what's going to go on here. I genuinely do believe if Khamzat beats Whittaker, he jumps Strickland, in my opinion. I know the UFC has said Strickland's next, but nothing's been confirmed yet. And we know that the UFC are desperate to get Khamzat in a title fight. I feel like if he beats Whittaker, he skips over Sean Strickland. But who knows? There's a lot of things that could go on here. I think it is a bit of a quick turnaround for Whittaker as well, depending on how the fight goes against Khamzat, because I don't see Whittaker finishing Khamzat. I see him beating him by decision. And then you got, October, November, December, January, February. 4 months. It's not that bad, but it is still a bit of a quick turnaround, in my opinion. But who knows what the UFC is going to do. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. I'm just looking forward to seeing DDP back in the cage. That guy is definitely one of the most exciting fighters right now on the UFC's roster. I don't care who he fights next. Let me know who you want to see him fight next in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.